William noticed it slowly. Camilla's presence, weaving into their lives with quiet resolve. It wasn't loud or obvious, yet it unsettled the delicate balance they once shared. Diana saw it too, her warnings soft but insistent. A mother's instinct sensed the shift long before it became clear. After the divorce was finalized in August 1996, the quiet undercurrents of family life began to shift noticeably. Camilla, once a discreet presence on the periphery, began to assert herself more openly around Charles, establishing a quiet but undeniable foothold. William, then 14, was old enough to perceive these changes, not just the increasing visits, but the subtle redistribution of his father's attention and the palpable expansion of Camilla's influence within their domestic sphere. It wasn't just the frequency of her appearances. It was the comfortable authority with which she occupied spaces that once felt exclusively theirs. William began to notice the difference, the way familiar rhythms faltered, and he didn't keep these observations to himself. He shared his initial discomfort with Diana, who listened with a calm born of experience. Her response was neither anger nor surprise, but a measured understanding, a mother's recognition that some changes, no matter how slow or deliberate, demand attention before they become irreversible. This growing visibility of Camilla marked the start of a new chapter, one where the family's equilibrium was disrupted and the future seemed profoundly unsettled. Over time, William observed how Camilla's visits transitioned from discreet appearances to an overt assumption of her place. She was no longer a shadow at the edges, but a figure actively shaping their environment. This shift subtly rewrote the unspoken rules of their family interactions, creating a pervasive resentment in William that was felt but rarely articulated aloud. The home that once held a clear sense of belonging was now layered with complexity and silent negotiations, fostering a growing sense of marginalization in William. These changes affected not only the emotional atmosphere but also the daily routines. As everyone struggled to adapt to the evolving household dynamic, it was a delicate dance of reluctant acceptance and quiet defiance, with each family member navigating their own path through the shifting landscape of their relationships, leaving William with a deepening sense of loss. One evening, during a dinner at Charles's home, William's unease took on a sharper edge. Camilla moved through the kitchen with an ease that spoke volumes. She knew exactly where the cutlery was, how to arrange the glasses, even which cupboard held the tea towels. This familiarity unsettled William deeply. It was as if she belonged there, not just as a guest, but as an integral part of the household. He watched her from across the room, noting the small gestures and quiet confidence that marked her presence. It was the kind of comfort and belonging that had once been reserved for him and Diana alone. Diana, seated beside him, noticed his gaze and the tension beneath it. She understood immediately what William was feeling, the silent acknowledgement of a shifting family dynamic. It wasn't just about Camilla's presence, but the way she seemed to be weaving herself into the fabric of their lives with a quiet persistence. Diana's heart tightened, not from anger, but from a profound awareness that these moments, seemingly small, were the threads of a future none of them could yet fully grasp. That evening, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken questions and the weight of change. William's mind raced with memories of times when the kitchen was a sanctuary of family rituals. Now infiltrated by this new presence, he found himself longing for the familiarity of the past, even as he grappled with the reality unfolding before him. The contrast between what was and what was becoming left an ache that was difficult to voice but impossible to ignore. The boundaries that once felt clear began to blur in unexpected, uncomfortable moments. Camilla's attendance at Harry's school play was one such moment. She arrived unannounced, slipping into the audience without telling Harry or William beforehand. Charles had not informed his sons, leaving them to face the surprise on their own. William felt an immediate sense of intrusion. a quiet discomfort gnawing at him as he watched Camilla settle into a seat once reserved for family alone. That seat, once a symbol of their close family circle, now signaled a shift in the family dynamic. It made William question where he truly fit. Harry, however, met the situation with calm acceptance. His composure was a quiet contrast to William's unease. This wasn't apathy, but a pragmatic resignation, a protective shield he'd developed to process such inevitable changes as a new normal. It reflected his own way of navigating evolving family roles. The play went on, but beneath the applause lingered a tension, an unspoken acknowledgement that the family's boundaries were shifting in ways both inevitable and unsettling. This small, seemingly innocent act showed how Camilla's presence was no longer just a background detail. It was becoming a new reality, requiring adjustment. Even if that adjustment was slow and reluctant, William's thoughts churned with questions. Why hadn't Charles warned them? Was this a test of their acceptance or an imposition? The uncertainty deepened his sense of displacement, making the familiar event feel like unfamiliar territory. The play's scenes unfolded as a backdrop to his internal struggle, the laughter and applause sharply contrasting with his growing discomfort. In that moment, the theater was not just a place for a childhood performance. It became a stage for the complex, shifting relationships that defined their family's present and hinted at its future. After the play, Harry was unusually quiet, his thoughts seeming far away. William noticed, but didn't push. The silence spoke volumes. A heavy feeling filled the air, one neither brother wanted to break with needless words. Harry mentioned, almost casually, that Camilla already knew the teacher's name before he did. It was a small detail, but it showed how deeply Camilla had started to fit into their lives, becoming part of everyday moments. Harry wondered if she would attend future school events, his tone neither welcoming nor resistant, just quietly accepting. For him, Camilla's presence was becoming the new normal, a reality he was learning to handle on his own terms. He balanced old memories with new realities. This acceptance was very different from William's ongoing unease, highlighting how the brothers processed the changing family in different ways. William's hesitation came from a mix of loyalty and uncertainty, feelings that made the future feel unclear. It was a touching reminder that beneath calm surfaces, emotions run deep and complex, shaped by past experiences and unpredictable changes. As Camilla's role grew, the question remained: how would each of them truly accept this evolving family dynamic? William struggled with the idea that Harry's calm might be either a shield or surrender. Meanwhile, Harry thought about the balance between acceptance and resistance, between holding on and letting go. Their different views showed how people cope with change in subtle ways, especially in families where loyalty, love, and loss are tightly woven. It reminds us that adapting is rarely simple, but always deeply human. Have you ever noticed someone quietly accepting a change that others find difficult? Harry's calm during shifting family tides shows us that acceptance isn't always loud or obvious. What moments of silent strength have you seen in your life or in others? Share your thoughts below. Camilla's presence had quietly woven itself into Charles's home, becoming almost part of the everyday. One morning, William arrived for breakfast to find her already there, folding the newspaper with the same careful precision Charles always used. Without hesitation, she offered him eggs, as if this was routine. A small gesture loaded with unspoken meaning. For William, these moments felt like surrender. Not a dramatic capitulation, but a slow acceptance of a new order unfolding around him. The familiarity was unsettling. It marked a shift from what was once clear to a blurred, uncertain reality. Camilla wasn't just an occasional visitor anymore. She was becoming a constant presence, reshaping the family home in subtle but profound ways. This normalization wasn't just about physical space. It was about the emotional territory William was starting to acknowledge, even if reluctantly. In these quiet exchanges, the future was being rewritten one small act at a time. The simple act of sharing breakfast became a symbol of changing tides, where roles and relationships were silently renegotiated. William's internal conflict deepened as he faced the reality that the home was no longer the sanctuary it once was. Camilla's presence reminded him of the evolving landscape he had to navigate. This transformation went beyond mere presence. It was an emotional undercurrent altering the rhythm of daily life. It subtly influenced conversations, glances, and the unspoken rules guiding their interactions. Each morning routine carried a weight of adjustment, signaling that the family's foundations were shifting in both visible and invisible ways. These changes shaped William's sense of belonging and displacement within his own home. Camilla's growing influence was clear one afternoon when she hosted lunch at Charles's home. She moved through the room with the quiet authority once held by Diana. She directed staff on seating arrangements and even chose the menu with ease. The household responded to her cues as naturally as they had to Diana's, a change William noticed immediately. He felt his input, once valued, slipping away. Camilla's steady hand was guiding not only the staff but the atmosphere itself. This takeover wasn't sudden. It was a gradual erasure, slowly rewriting roles that once felt secure. The space where Diana's presence had been strong was now filled by Camilla's calm command. William's sense of belonging began to waver. In these moments, ordinary on the surface but heavy with meaning, the true depth of change became clear. Family dynamics were evolving, and William's place within this new order was quietly redefined. The lunch, filled with polite conversation and laughter, masked the tension William felt keenly. Each decision Camilla made, from the choice of dishes to the seating plan, was a quiet assertion of her role. She subtly shifted the household's balance of power. This shift in influence reflected broader changes in the family's internal relationships. It signaled a new era in the household's hierarchy. As Camilla continued to assert her position, it became clear her presence was not just tolerated but accepted. She had become a defining element of the family's daily life, marking a profound transformation in once familiar dynamics. On the yacht, during their last moments together, Diana's voice carried a weight that lingered long after the waves settled. She sat with William and Harry, her eyes searching his with a mother's urgent concern. Diana warned William about Camilla's growing presence, not with anger, but with sober clarity born of experience. She urged him to watch what people do, not just what they say, since actions often speak louder than words. Speaking gently yet firmly, Diana spoke of kindness that demands something in return. She cautioned William to be mindful of those subtle exchanges where goodwill becomes a currency. Specifically, she linked this to Camilla's increasing influence, advising him to guard important matters, succession plans, private family counsel, even personal decisions. She warned against any goodwill that might hide a calculated bid for power or access. Her words blended love and warning, a quiet plea to stay vigilant amid shifting loyalties and blurred boundaries. This conversation was more than a farewell. It was heartfelt counsel carved into memory. It reminded him that beneath the surface, not all is as it seems. The specifics of her warnings, especially about Camilla and the political use of royal trust, struck William with cold, clear impact. His perception shifted instantly, realizing the family's dynamics held more calculated threads than he had imagined. This shock soon gave way to somber resolve, deepening a seed of caution that would grow as their story unfolded. The yacht's serene surroundings sharply contrasted with the gravity of Diana's message, embedding the conversation with finality and urgency. Her gaze conveyed the depth of her concern, a silent testament to love's complexities in their changing family landscape. It was as if the boat's gentle rocking echoed the fragile balance of relationships she wanted to protect. Her insight, drawn from years navigating the turbulent waters of royal life, offered a rare glimpse into challenges ahead. In that moment, the peaceful ocean became the backdrop to a profound lesson about vigilance, resilience, and the enduring strength found in cautious love. The final phone call from Diana came unexpectedly, a brief, poignant moment from the Ritz in Paris. It lasted less than 5 minutes, yet its weight was immeasurable. Her voice held urgency and quiet resolve as she warned William not to trust Camilla with important matters. This wasn't bitterness, but clear-eyed caution, a mother's instinct sharpened by years of watching subtle shifts and hidden intentions. Each of Diana's words was deliberate, carrying the gravity of a final plea. For William, the call marked a turning point, an emotional climax etched deeply into his heart and mind. It was the last time they spoke, a fragile thread severed too soon, leaving behind a mix of love, warning, and unresolved tension. The memory lingered, a haunting reminder of what was lost and what lay ahead. William grappled with trust, loyalty, and the changing landscape of his family. Though brief, the call's significance was profound. Every word was weighed and measured, a silent message of protection and sorrow. He replayed the conversation often, finding both comfort and a solemn reminder of challenges to come. This fleeting exchange, short as it was, captured years of unspoken truths and fears. It also underscored the fragile nature of their relationship, caught between public scrutiny and private turmoil. In many ways, the call symbolized the crossroads where William stood, torn between past and uncertain future. The emotional resonance of Diana's voice remained with him, a guiding yet painful beacon amid the unfolding complexities of his life. William carries the memory of that final call with careful reverence. At just 15, he bore a burden few could understand, the weight of his mother's warnings, wrapped in love and urgency. Though he has never shared all the details publicly, Diana's words quietly shaped his view of trust and family. This is clear in his guarded choice of advisors and his determination to shield his children from intense public scrutiny. Each time he reflects on that moment, he acknowledges the distance between childhood innocence and the complex realities he faced. The call stands as a silent testament to a mother's fierce protectiveness and a son's reluctant acceptance of a changing world. Even now, as an adult, William's perspective is colored by that conversation. It remains a lasting echo, guiding him through the emotional labyrinth left by loss and transformation. This influence shows in his reserved public persona and careful navigation of family loyalties, especially with his brother and father. It reminds us that some conversations, brief as they may be, carry a lifetime of meaning. Sometimes, the heaviest burdens are those we quietly carry within. This ongoing reflection shapes William's approach to relationships and trust. It underscores the lasting power of a mother's love and the resilience it fosters amid upheaval. He prioritizes safeguarding his family's privacy and takes a discerning approach to new alliances. Over the years, William has realized that the lessons in that call were not just about caution, but also about vigilance and emotional strength. He often thinks about how that moment marked a pivotal shift in his life, a boundary between the world he once knew and the one he had to navigate alone. In many ways, that conversation planted a seed from which grew a profound sense of responsibility. It shaped his values and the way he connects with those he cares about, fostering discretion and genuine bonds. This stands in stark contrast to the superficiality he has often encountered. It serves as a quiet reminder that love sometimes comes with difficult truths. True strength often lies in embracing vulnerability while standing firm. Diana's warnings still resonate, shaping William's quiet strength through life's complexities. Though brief, her words left a lasting mark, a reminder that love often speaks softly but carries great weight. In that silence, William discovers both caution and resilience. How have family dynamics shaped your life? Have you seen quiet strength during times of change? Share your stories and reflections below. Let's create a space to explore these complex emotions together.